Part 3
Downtime.
of a 3-part series on watch this game get played.
Very well, I might add.
Watch it get played very well. What is downtime? Downtime is the time between adventures that the explorers spend researching the new technologies they've acquired, healing their wounds, reconnecting with their sentiments, addressing the damage they have caused, and reflecting on their emotional states. Downtime is not camping out overnight in the middle of an adventure. It represents a time span greater than that, from weeks to months, where adventure isn't actively being sought out. How long one unit of time during downtime takes should have been established when defining scope, but agree on that now if you haven't already. How long do we, rest on our heels?
I think a couple months here.
Months?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we,
Mhm.
made contact with this neighboring town that we haven't really talked to at all. So
Right.
I think months to kind of talk with people, and
Okay, so we could say 1 month, I think.
in this case,
Yeah, a unit is a month.
yeah. I mean, that's the other thing is while we're adventuring, people can also be talking with this town.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, okay, a month.
Okay, so first step is to roll for complications.
Okay.
The legacy of the explorer's interference does not stop progressing just because they've left the area. At the start of each downtime phase, you'll roll for complications for the location you just left to see the immediate effects of your actions. You'll roll for additional locations as described in the Downtime at Home section. The number of ticks on the collateral clock of the location in focus determines which of the following tables is used, blah, blah, blah. Basically, this is very similar to entanglements in any Forged in the Dark game. This is the part of this game that is Forged in the Dark, is downtime. So the complications are basically... we didn't mention it when we were recording because I was doing it while Sasha was talking. But there is a collateral clock. There's an 8-step pie chart that you should fill in anytime that you're on an adventure that somebody does something that could cause harm to whatever is at stake in the world. So in this case it was that the cliff is not stable, but it could also be to other things if you discover those through play. So we have 2 ticks in the collateral clock, and both of those were from, I think it was basically from taking off in the giant building and then landing. Because who knows what that could have done. If we had failed more rolls that were world at risk kind of rolls, that could have gone farther, but because we basically succeeded most of the rolls, we just marked it off when it made sense fictionally. So we will roll on the locations with 1 to 3 collateral table because it's fairly low. So if you want to do the favor and roll that d6.
All right. Got a 2.
So you got a 2. On a 2 to 3, the problem intensifies or there is an unforeseen side effect. This one feels kind of obvious, right? Like landing that building. No matter how well we did it, we were still complete amateurs in that thing. And so I think maybe some of that cliff face, maybe the next week, maybe 2 weeks from then. But at some point after we left, some of the cliff just
fell off.
Like a sheer, fell into the river. Which...
That makes sense, because we did see that there were some underground tunnels.
Right.
So maybe we landed on something that was more extensive tunneling.
Right. So I will mark another... thing on that. Okay, what is the effect at home? Once you've rolled and described the complications for a location, take some time to describe any changes to your home that may have occurred since we've last seen it. Consider the rippling effect of any collateral, as well as the treasures you have returned to as reference.
So we definitely have more knowledge here, as well as a new relationship. So you do have an abundance of community, but I think that community is added to.
Yeah. And people were jazzed to see us come back with some success. I don't think any of the ripples from that cliff. Because is this... Actually, we should determine... Because that would matter. Is this downstream or upstream from us?
I think it's upstream from us. So I do think that we do maybe see some rocks.
Yeah, we would get flooding.
Flooded,
Yeah, we would get flooding a week later. We don't maybe put 2 and 2 together unless we're engaging in active contact with them.
I think we might. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know if it's like necessarily huge flooding, but it is enough.
I mean, I think
Maybe
a
this
significant
place is
portion of that
substantial.
cliff fell, like a big
Okay.
rock, and that would just send.
Yeah, that would sound like a flood.
It wouldn't be for long, but it would
Yeah.
be like
Yeah.
basically a small wave
Yeah.
travel
Okay.
down this river.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And if you get
Does that make sense?
flooded, yeah.
I think it's just like the banks get flooded, and
Yeah.
I don't think it causes that much of a headache. I don't think anybody really notes it. Maybe they think it rained somewhere upstream.
Yeah, yeah.
But that, I mean, that is still like whoever works on this farm still has to work a little harder that week. Whoever has anything, yeah.
But we do gain some knowledge of technology, so some specialized knowledge, some technology. We don't really gain any history or sunlight, and we do
Right.
gain a relationship with new people. So.
And that location was a reward 3, so let's go to there and just remind ourselves what that actually means. So R3, this can completely move a scarcity to neutral. A long-term project can yield more of its potential and lead it to abundance. If the reward does not address the scarcity, it could create a new abundance. But that is if it's fully recovered. Like if the reward is fully recovered. Do you think that we've done that? Or
I think we're in the process of it.
right.
I feel like this is taking
So I think a project
Some
could
time.
move
specialized knowledge, I feel like, and technology
right.
to, yeah.
with like active communication. Like
Yes.
the project could be going back and forth with this village.
Okay, yeah. Do we mark that down anywhere?
I mean, we should write it. If we were going to continue this, I think
Yeah.
we would write it somewhere.
Just write down
but-
this project.
Well, it's not. Nope. Somebody would have to start the
Oh, somebody
project.
with the start
Yeah.
of the project, I see.
We just have a lead on that.
Okay.
But now, once you've rolled and described complications for the location you've adventured in, it's time to take downtime actions. The actions are described starting on the next page and are mechanical representations of the things that the characters are doing between their adventures. Each character gets one downtime action. Once per downtime phase, each character can also do both of the free actions. Downtime at home, however, if your downtime is taking place in your home settlement or otherwise somewhere you're able to sleep comfortably with both eyes closed, the characters can rest easy. We each take one recovery point, which lost its way on the sheet, so just mark that you have one recovery point. The sheet's a work in progress and has changed as the rules have changed, so it's not all quite there yet. Collectively decide how much time is going to pass between now and the next adventure. For each unit of time we decide pass, beyond the first one, each character gains an additional downtime action. However, we will also roll for additional complications for each unit of time. So, by default, we rolled for one complication and we get one action.
Yeah, yeah.
We can continue to sit on our heels and let things occur in the world
I think.
to do more actions.
Yeah. Okay.
I think, I mean, the idea is you would be able to pick a location. We only have one location right now. So, just the one action.
Probably just the one action then. Yeah.
Right, and then we would go out. So we're spending a month. So the actions we can take, you can do a long-term project. You can reconnect with your sentiments if any of them are at risk. You can perform some introspection, which will lower your mood levels. It did not come up at all, but if your mood levels get higher and then if your mood level gets beyond the threshold, which is denoted on the sheet, and then your die roll is lower, you'll overload in that mood, and there's a series of effects for your character just being like locked in a jubilant state or whatever.
Really jubilant.
Yeah. But that didn't happen, so introspection probably isn't super necessary. There's address collateral, which is where you will come up with a plan to deal with some bullshit that you caused. And then the rest of the players, so me, will weigh in on whether we think that's even a good plan or if that will help. And then you'll roll some dice and maybe you'll help.
Okay.
But it's easy. You could also make it
Harm,
worse.
yeah.
Because good intentions don't mean that you've done anything good. You could train skills. So we only used the one skill. Maybe we picked bad skills for ourselves. You did reading. To level up a skill, you can move it from a 1 to a 2. But you have to use it for a mind check, a body check, and a heart check. which is why Sasha marked off the
Mind.
The mind.
For reading.
So train skills would just allow you to roll that die and then mark off that many skills as as if you had used it. Seeking recovery is if you're harmed, like I am.
What happened to you?
Splatted.
Oh, okay.
I got splatted. Or you could scout. There are all these other locations on the map. You can go check one out.
Mm-hmm. So how many actions do we get?
One.
Just one?
One each.
Okay.
Unless we want to let this cliff keep ticking away.
I would like to address some collateral.
Okay.
At the cliffside village.
Sure.
Clifftop village.
So you want to address collateral?
I'd like to address collateral.
While adventuring, you track the damage done to the environment you're exploring with the collateral clock. Addressing collateral requires both a method with which to reverse the harm done and the resources to apply that method. Choose a location that your group has affected and describe your plan to undo the damage. The other players discuss whether or not you have the resources to enact your plan. For each player that believes that your plan is good and you have the resource to enact it, take +1 to the roll. For each player that dissents, take -1 to the roll. If you do not like your odds after these modifiers, you can instead pivot the action to starting a long-term project to address the concerns about your plan raised by the other players. If you're going through with the plan, roll your mind die. Reduce the collateral clock of the chosen location by a number of ticks equal to your die roll plus your modifiers minus the collateral level. So you'll be rolling your mind, which is D8, plus, if I give you +1 or -1, and then -3, because that's what the collateral clock is at.
Okay.
So at best, you're going to be rolling D8 -2.
Okay.
It's rough out here. If you don't quite make it to your target, you or someone else can spend an additional downtime action to add another die to the mix, which can be mind, heart, or body, depending on what you think was causing the plan to be ineffective. Each die you roll adds to your current total. A negative final result will increase the collateral level. Your attempt to address the situation at hand does more harm than good.
Okay.
The floor is yours. What's the plan?
So I think I would like to work with those in Clifftop Village to try and go underground and try to bolster the tunnels there. I think that is maybe what is causing some of the instability within the cliffside. So trying to explore that and building up that architecture down there.
Okay. Using, wood,
What do we make at our factory?
It's a factory. It produces things. We don't have any scarcities of, tools or...
Yeah.
Building materials or anything.
Using factory, to metal, wood, rocks, maybe.
Okay. So you're shipping stuff down the river?
Yeah, shipping stuff up the river.
Up the river, excuse me.
And working with the villagers to explore and to kind of figure out, what's most at risk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
Okay. So you give me a +1.
I'll give you a +1, so you're going to roll your mind.
Which is
+1. Minus the collateral clock, so D8 -2.
So +1 minus... Oh, +1 -3, which is -2, so D8 -2. D8, which is a 7.
Yeah.
-2, which is a 5.
Mm-hmm.
And that's more than...
Yeah, so you reduce...
5.
You, patch up that cliff.
Okay, cool.
You reduce the collateral clock of the chosen location by number of ticks. So I don't know that you... I think you, get it so it's stabilized back to where it was before we got there, and then maybe they have an idea on how to proceed.
So how exactly this... So this is 5, right?
Right.
So you
reduce this by 5 ticks, yeah.
Okay, so in this case it just goes to 0.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had gotten a 2...
If you'd gotten a 2, it would have done nothing.
Okay.
If you had gotten a 1... Because 2 minus 2 would have been 0.
0.
So if you rolled a 1, you would have added 1 because
I see.
Mucking around in those tunnels was not a good look.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so that's you.
What would you like to do? Would you like to reduce your harm? Or...
Yes. Well, actually, I could do that for free.
Oh, you can? Why
so we get 1 recovery point
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And then the recover harm is a free action. You spend a number of recovery points equal to the number of harm details you have to convert one harm detail into a scar.
Oh.
You can do this as many times as you can afford. Scars are details that are shadows of former harm. For example, you can convert embarrassed into bashful, broken wrist into stiff wrist, or cast out into mistrusted. What?
I wrote that, I forgot.
Oh, the cast out the mistrusted? Yeah, you did. So I'm going to erase my splatted. So if I had more harm, I would not be able to do this for free.
Right.
Because it would
But
cost 2 to get
harm
rid of
detail,
1.
yeah.
So what do you think of Scar for being splatted in a cartoon way?
Do you walk slightly wonkier?
Or is it just like crooked nose?
Yeah, are you like just slightly crooked sometimes? I think you're just slightly crooked sometimes.
Just gonna write.
And then if you just kind of like crack your back, and then you're back into being straight, but like if you leave it for too long,
Right.
you just like get slightly crooked. And somebody has to be like, hey, buddy.
Right. And so I think this is just like relaxing for the month.
Yeah.
Since I didn't have to do too much. And then I would like to. I'd like to reconnect with my sentiments. So, as a reminder, I risked my good feelings from my top bunk at home in the attic as I was flying through and then got splatted. So it's currently at risk. If I were to risk it again and lose it, it'd be a whole situation. I would hate my bed.
I hate it.
You can spend downtime actions reconnecting with your lost or at-risk sentiments. Alternatively, if one is lost and doesn't make sense to be reconnected with, you can forge a new one. This action allows you to reconnect or forge only one sentiment. Additional actions would need to be taken if multiple sentiments are lost or at risk. Reconnecting or forging new sentiments is an emotional event, so you increase a relevant mood level by the following amounts. The relevant thing is clear the at-risk checkbox by raising the mood level by 2.
So what mood is associated with this?
I think it's jubilant. I think when we got home, I was like nervous about getting back into bed because I was like, I'm just going to remember.
You're going to dream about this.
I'm going to get in there and every dream
splatted.
is going to be flying through and getting splatted and it's going to be worse and worse. And it was for a week, I think, because that's the way it is. But I think after a week, those started to fade. And laying down in bed again became something that brought a nice smile to my face.
Okay, cool.
Raising my mood level of jubilant by 2. But finishing the downtime.
And here we are.
So, right, if we were going to continue playing, we would choose another location to go to.
I chose last time. You want to choose?
I think we'd just keep going up river.
That's what I was thinking too.
So we would say, oh, where are we going?
Oh, so this is my card. So this is the Hanging Libraries. It is accessible by a tunnel. And if you go down, you come out into a very, very large cave where you cannot see the bottom. And you come out into these... I think they're lit up by like bioluminescence, and you can see that there are just structures that are hanging down from the cave ceiling, and then down at the bottom there is buildings down there, and there are the stone stairs you can go down into these buildings.
Cool.
Yeah, and here the collateral is doing damage to the cave system, and or bringing damage to the creatures and things that live in the cave. So you want to be careful spelunking and getting bats sick that live in the cave. There's a big danger of falling. And the reward is some history and specialized knowledge, because I think these buildings are full of books and things.
Cool. So similar.
Similar.
Upriver is. I mean, we
just
gotta wait for those books to come down.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, and that is it.
Hashtag Unturned.
Thanks for watching. Get it. Buy it.
Oh.
Buy it. Back us on Kickstarter. We really